Today, we are going to be ranking the top 25 players in the NBA that are under 25 years old. The league is filled with young talent and the future of the league looks pretty bright. As the older generation slows down, new, younger players will step up to take their place. I think the shift between the eras is starting right now, and we will be looking at some of the top players that could be dominating the league down the line. We got a lot to cover, so let's start with the list. At number 25, I have Jarrett Allen. He has good rim protection and is a good rebounder too. His offensive game isn't the greatest, but he still puts up 13 points on 62% shooting from the field. At number 24, I have Tyrese Halliburton. He was a rookie last year and made the All-Rookie First Team while being third in Rookie of the Year voting. His main concern coming into his rookie year was his shooting, and he started to take and make more three-pointers and started gaining respect around the league. Last year, he shot 41% from 3 on 5 attempts a game. He's a solid playmaker too and is more than capable of finding the open man. At number 23, I have Mikal Bridges. He's 24 years old and was actually a really solid player on the Suns and had a key role on the Suns' finals run. Although he didn't make an All-NBA defensive team, he was in the conversation and is a very good and versatile defender. He is a sniper, as last year he shot 54% from the field and 43% from 3 on 4.5 attempts a game. At number 22, I have John Collins. Last season, he took a step back away from the previous year. He went from averaging 22-10 to 18-7. It was a quiet step back and I feel like it went under the radar. He's still a very solid player and is bringing a lot to the table for the Hawks. In the past, his main criticism was his defense, but now he isn't a liability as he's average. He's a stretch big that made 40% of his threes last season and is a huge lob threat. At number 21, I have DeJounte Murray. He averaged 16, 7, and 5 on 45, 32, 79 shooting splits. His impact on the court is huge, and that's a big reason to why the Spurs made it to the play-in tournament last year. He was in very serious conversations for being on the All-NBA defensive team last season. His mid-range shot has gotten a lot better, and he can do everything. He can give you over 15 points a game, he can find the open man, he is a good rebounder for his position, and he's an elite defender. At number 20, we have Lonzo Ball. He's 23 years old and brings a lot to the table. He brings great perimeter defense, he can shoot the ball at a good rate now, he can set other players up, and he has improved every single year in his career, and that most likely will continue. At number 19, we have Michael Porter Jr. Because Jamal Murray was injured late last year, MPJ had to step it up and was the second option in the playoffs. He is above everyone else on this list so far because of his scoring ability. He isn't a great shot creator, but he does find other ways to still score the ball, like driving to the basket or catch and shoot shots. Last year, he scored 19 points a game on 54% from the field and 45% from 3 on over 6 attempts a game. At number 18, we have Anthony Edwards. He averaged almost 20 points a game as a rookie and is pretty good at creating his own shot. At number 17, we have Collin Sexton. This is our first official 20-point per game scorer. Matter of fact, he's pretty underrated because he averages over 24 points a game with good efficiency. At number 16, we have last year's Rookie of the Year in LaMelo Ball. Although he doesn't score as much as some of the other players behind him, his playmaking ability more than makes up for it. He averaged 16, 6, and 6 in his rookie year, but after he got a starting spot, his production rose even more. One of the concerns coming into the league was his three-point shot. He ended up shooting league average from deep on 5 threes a game. DeAndre Ayton comes in at number 15. He was a key piece in the Suns' finals run last year and was the third option on that team. He played amazing defense against the MVP and really showed why he was the first overall pick in the 2018 draft in the past playoffs. He averaged 16 points and 12 rebounds a game in the playoffs, shooting 66% from the field. He has expanded his game by adding a mid-range shot, which made him even tougher to defend. At number 14, I have Brandon Ingram. In 2020, he was an all-star, and last season he pretty much put up the exact same numbers. He averaged 24 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds a game on 47, 38, 88 shooting splits. He uses his height and 7'3" wingspan to shoot over defenders and is one of the best scorers on this list. These next 3 players were very, very close in my opinion, and you could really switch them around. At 13, I have Jamal Murray. At 12, I have Bam Adebayo. And at 11, I have Ja Morant. For Jamal Murray, he has a lot of talent and he's proven in the playoffs. With him out with an ACL injury, you could see how much value he added to the Nuggets. Jokic was trying to do it all, but without Jamal Murray, MPJ was the sidekick, and that didn't turn out very well. Bam Adebayo definitely doesn't have the offensive game compared to Murray and Ja, but I think his defensive impacts puts him over Jamal Murray. He also is an underrated playmaker, and I think he's the second best passing center in the league. I have Ja Morant above these guys because of his most recent playoff run. His impact has led the Grizzlies to the playoffs this year, or last year, and despite what the numbers tell you, in the playing games, he performed great, and in the playoffs, he continued to play amazing. In his playoff debut, he averaged 30 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds a game on 49% shooting from the field and 32% shooting from 3. At number 10, I have De'Aaron Fox. He's actually a really underrated player and is often swept under the rug. Last year, he averaged 25 points, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists a game on 48, 32, 72 shooting splits. His athleticism is great, and he uses his speed to his advantage when he plays. His 3-point shot isn't very reliable, and we haven't seen him win many games. That's the main reason I have other players ahead of him. At number 9, I have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He puts up 24 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds a game last season on 51% shooting from the field and 42% from 3. Those are some amazing stats for a player in his 3rd season in the league. He keeps getting better and better every year. He went from having an okay 3-point shot to shooting 42% from 3 on 5 attempts a game. He's a legit 3-way scorer who's one of the most underrated players in the league. And I don't want to hear that he doesn't lead to winning, because he does. He was a key piece in that surprising LA Clippers team that pushed the Golden State Warriors to 6 games in the playoffs. He was arguably the second option on a 5th-seeded Thunder team that was 1 block away from going to the second round. And when he played last year, he actually made the Thunder a competent team. They were trying to tank, but when Shai was playing, the Thunder went 17-20. At number 8, we have Benjamin David Simmons. He's a player that is very hard to judge. With how he played in last year's playoffs, it's really hard to rank him. I do feel like Ben Simmons has been so criticized that he's actually a little bit underrated. I think the only thing holding him back is the lack of a 3-point shot and the lack of aggression. I think he's great at everything else in the game. He's a great playmaker, good rebounder, and is one of the best defenders and is unstoppable on the fast break. If he's put into the perfect situation, I think he can thrive. I would love to see him at least attempt threes and drive to the rim more, as that maximizes his strengths and improves on his weaknesses. At number 7, I have Zion Williamson. He's one of the most dominant players in the game at 21 years old, and in terms of getting to the rim and just dominating the paint, he's already comparable to Giannis, Embiid, and Anthony Davis. He earned his first All-Star appearance last season while putting up 27 points, 4 assists, and 7 rebounds a game on 61% shooting from the field. I do have some concerns about Zion that is holding him back from being higher on this list. He fails to stay healthy, he doesn't attempt threes, and he isn't that great defensively, and his play hasn't led to wins. At number 5, I have Jaylen Brown. People forget that at the beginning of last season, some people thought that he was better than Jason Tatum. That's how good he is. After getting injured and missing the last bit of the regular season and playoffs, it showed how impactful Jaylen Brown is for the Celtics. Last season, he put up 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists a game on 48% shooting from the field and 40% from 3. Not only is he a lethal 3-level scorer, he also brings great defense. He has improved every single year of his career, and with Kemba off the team, I think he can take yet another leap next season. At number 5, I have Devin Booker. Before last season, the biggest criticism against him was that his play didn't contribute to wins, but he proved them all wrong last year. Chris Paul was added to the team and everyone stepped up, including D-Book. They ended up going to the NBA Finals, and I would argue Devin Booker was their best player. He still remains as one of the league's best scorers, but now he has a playoff resume on top of that. And in the playoffs last year, he put up 27 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists on 45% shooting from the field and 32% from 3. At number 4, I have Trae Young. And if you think Devin Booker is better, I see the argument because it's really close. Like Booker, his biggest criticism was that his play didn't contribute to wins. He led the Atlanta Hawks all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals while taking out Joel Embiid and the 76ers. The Hawks were the biggest surprise of last year's playoffs, and Trae Young had a huge role. In the playoffs, he averaged 29 points, 3 rebounds, and 10 assists a game on 42, 31, 87 shooting splits. He is a huge defensive liability, but I do believe the spacing he brings and his playmaking just puts him over Devin Booker. At number 3, I have Donovan Mitchell. Last season, Donovan Mitchell led the Utah Jazz to the best record in the entire league. He has gotten better every season of his career, and he's always steps it up in the playoffs. He often gets blamed because the Jazz blew a 3-1 lead in 2020 and a 2-0 lead last year. These are his stats from the last 3 losses in the Denver series, and these are his stats from the last 4 losses in the LA series. I have him over Devin Booker because he does almost everything better than him. He scores more and he's more efficient. His efficiency may look worse, but he attempts just way more threes, and overall, he's more efficient when it comes to scoring. They rebound about the same, they defend about the same, and Donovan Mitchell is the better playmaker. I feel like Donovan Mitchell is better than Trae because he scores more on better efficiency while having a closer gap in playmaking compared to Devin Booker. At number 2, I have Jason Tatum. He is an elite 3-level scorer that is also really good on the defensive end. In the playoffs, the Celtics were missing Jaylen Brown, so it was pretty much all in the hands of Jason Tatum. He still played great with all the attention on him as he dropped a 50-point game in the playoffs. I have him above D-Book, Trae Young, and Mitchell, all because of his defense. That's the main thing. I think they're all on the same tier when it comes to scoring, and a much better rebounder and defender than all of them. He is a borderline elite defender, while D-Book and D-Mitch are average at best, and Trae Young is one of the league's worst defenders. And at number 1, I'm sure it's not a surprise, I have Luka Doncic. The things Luka has done in the first 3 years in the league is incredible. He's only 22 years old, and he's already the best player under 25 years old. He almost averaged a 30-point triple-double in his sophomore season and put up similar stats last year, except he had better efficiency. Sadly, he ran into the Clippers both times the Mavericks made the playoffs, but it would be amazing to see him come out of the first round. In the 2020 playoffs, he pushed the LA Clippers to 6 games. Last year in the playoffs, he pushed the Clippers to 7 games while putting up 36 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists a game on 49% shooting from the field and 41% from 3. His second option was Tim Hardaway Jr., and he's pretty much carrying that Mavericks team to 7 games. That's insane. At the age of 22, he's in the conversation of being one of the best players in the entire league. I think Luka should be at number 1 on this list, and I don't think it's much of a debate. That's it. This is my list of the top 25 players under 25 years old. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I read every single comment, so let me know what you think in the comments down below. Subscribe for future basketball content, and thank you for watching.